trying to make sure I get enough B-roll. You know, never know when I'm gonna need it.
So today I want to talk about another antagonist for 1st Brigade. But in order to really dive in and talk about this particular antagonist, I first need to talk about a little bit of world building within the comic book of 1st Brigade. Kind of thinking back on the time when I was developing the series, before I actually wrote the first script and all of that good stuff, I was thinking about just different things that may go on in New York and what exists within the realm of New York, or the quote-unquote world that 1st Brigade resided in. And with that being said, I wanted to include some fictional organizations, companies, things like that. You know, have my own toys to play with kind of thing. Along those lines, I thought of a corporation, and as I was thinking about this nameless corporation, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of leaning into the whole trope of, you know, the evil corporation. As I'm thinking about, okay, the reach of this corporation, how they may play a part in something in the background going on in the comic book of 1st Brigade, I was like, yeah, the whole quote unquote evil corporation it's all right, but I was like, in order for it to work or even have a identity, I was like, it needed a face. This is where, yes, that notebook came into play once more. So I went back into this old folder, and I already have the character in mind. This character is Winston Lord. He's a self-made man, having acquired his first few millions while his peers were out attending fraternity parties in undergrad. The former Chicagoan is a shrewd businessman with an analytical mind and the uncanny ability to predict financial windfalls. Winston built his corporate empire over the last 14 years through acquisitions, mergers, and corporate takeovers. Now, as one of the most wealthiest men on the planet, Winston seeks to become one of the most powerful men on the planet by any means necessary. So, Winston Lord was pretty much put as head of Apex Corporation, CEO. You know, he has his tentacles in a lot of different things. And at first glance, most people would assume, okay, it's just the black Lex Luthor. Winston Lord doesn't want superpowers. His money is his superpower. And that was pretty much kind of where I kind of thought about, okay, power set. With a lot of my villains, as I've previously discussed, I've been going over the top in terms of power sets. So, with the character of Winston Lord, I realized very early on I didn't want to give him powers. I didn't want to give him some type of means to getting powers, meaning he wasn't a super scientist or anything like that. He's got a very analytical mind, numbers wise, and things like that. So he plays that to his advantage, making money. So with Winston Lord, it was just like, yo, his power is money. Money is power. And all the different things you can do with money. So that's kind of why I decided to just say, yeah, if you ask me what his superpower is money, a lot of money, because that's how he gets things done. Whether it's things in the public eye that, you know, celebrates him, or shady things behind the scenes that nobody needs to know about. He can get things done in a lot of different ways. With the character of Winston Lord, yes, I just straight out saying he's a villain, but it's not necessarily one of those things where the 1st Brigade automatically can see it or know. Best way I can explain it is this is one of those things where it's okay for the audience to know up front, but the fun now is how the team has to figure out when they figure out, or if they figure out, what this man is really up to and what's really going on, like I said, behind the scenes. Okay, one last thing I want to kind of discuss with Winston is his voice, and this is kind of what kind of put me over the top And so I've mentioned before that growing up, I was a fan of professional wrestling and still keep up with it to this day. And one of my favorite managers, heel managers, is this guy named Paul Heyman. Oh my God, he's amazing on the microphone. Like, he can say some things that will get you pulled in, he'll pull you in, and then just at that moment, it's like a gut punch. But he does it in such a way, it's so charismatic, and he's so engaging that even though you as a fan are listening to him and he's talking to somebody, you know he's about to tear him down, you're still invested in the things he has to say. Paul Heyman is like one of my favorite just mouthpieces in professional wrestling. So when it came to me kind of thinking about who Winston Lord was, I was like, wait a minute. What if Paul Heyman wrote Winston Lord? And that's kind of what helped me imagine and really get to know Winston as a character. It's like he says some things that's buttery smooth, have you like draped on to every word, but you gotta really pay attention to what he's really saying, because he might be tearing somebody down or he might be tearing you down in the process. And so that was one of those things that was like, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a power of his, but that is definitely a skill that he has. For Winston Lord, is he has a gift for gab. And comparing him to any other villains in the series, he is completely different. He has his own motives, his own agenda, and the power he seeks isn't necessarily the same type of power that other criminals, villains, ne'er-do-wells in the series are seeking. He is a man of means, and he uses them for whatever means he deems fit. So Winston Lord, he definitely plays for keeps. I mean, he wouldn't be a multi-billionaire if he didn't play for keeps. Yes, he is cutthroat in the boardroom. Like, he's that dude. Just going into First Brigade and going into the development, and the way I play this character is like, yeah, I can just come out and say, yes, this person is bad. You, the fans, know this. But in terms of in-universe, the First Brigade at this point are clueless. So what if Michael Jordan was a legend in the boardroom and not on the basketball court?